Hello, and welcome to another episode of the False Prophets podcast. We're at episode 38, and I am your host, Phil Rizdon. Happy Easter, everybody. Before we get started on this podcast, I just want to read a quick ad from our sponsors. Guys, happy Easter, and fellas, did you wake up upset today because Jesus is risen, but your dick still can't? Well, then you want to try hymns. It'll make your dick as hard as a crucifix on Sunday morning. No, I'm just playing. This has been fun, man. I am back here in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. If you guys know a little bit about me, this is my hometown. I'm actually in the room that I grew up in. I used to jack off and ejaculate right into this corner. History was made here. Okay, lives were started and lost right in this corner. Oh, the children I would have had in this corner. I'm glad to be back. I tried to make this new episode as quick as I could. Okay, I tried to make it as quick as I fucking could because the last episode that I made, you guys did not watch whatsoever, and I realized I realized why. It was a very serious episode. Okay, it was a very, very serious episode, and lesson learned. You guys do not want serious Phil at all. All right, I am very aware of that. You guys do not want serious Phil in any sort of way. So I am back here to make the jokes. Fuck that. Let's bring in the dick jokes as quick as possible. I got 5 views from you people. All right, I tried to be vulnerable. Okay, I tried to talk about black immigrants and FBAs and try to go into that sector. Moxie approved. He tells me, oh, bro, you got to talk about pearly things. You got to go. I'm trying to be this serious-ass nigga, man. I'm trying to be a hard-hitting journalist. You guys said, fuck that. Bring on the dick jokes. So that's what you're going to get. You're going to get Jesus Christ, crucifix, dick jokes from the jump. And, I'm happy to do it for you. That's why I'm here, This has been fucking crazy. I'm happy to be back. We're trying to do the show a little bit more often than we were. As you see, Manny is still not here. We're trying to figure things out. I know how it is. We got a lot of things going on today. Students at the University of Wyoming are suing their sorority because they allowed a transgender member to join. And guess what? This transgender member also came with a raging hard erection. Yes, that is true. You were hearing this right. Supposedly, this new member, who I believe they didn't even reveal their name, I guess because of privacy or whatever, was admitted into the sorority and supposedly had 2 separate incidents. One where this person was in the house and was supposedly giving menacing looks to some of the girls, and a second incident where this person was also changing with the other girls and supposedly visibly had an erection. This is a hell of a situation, This is what we call a Mrs. Doubtfire situation, or in the black community, what we call a Joanna man. Things are tough out there, This is really hard, and I think this is something you're going to really start to see more of and hear more about if you're dealing with, I think trans issues, and as trans stuff and non-binary stuff becomes more popular in kind of like the political zeitgeist, if you will, and this is a thing too. I want to say that, I'm sorry for these, these women, but at the same time, I do think in this weird way, other women are kind of to blame. You know what I mean? I feel like you guys have set the bar too low for what constitutes a woman. Okay. I feel like this is something that I've always thought for a really long time when it comes to all this trans stuff. I feel like women, especially, and I live in New York, so I'm in a liberal bubble full of, Bushwick white girls. So, I'm sure there's going to be people screaming at me in the comments. But where I live, I feel like there's this energy of women kind of going like, it's like their secret ploy is like, oh, let's make the bar so low for being a woman that anyone can be a woman. Like, you can have a mustache and, we're put on a dress and you're a woman. As long as you say you're a woman, and that's whatever a woman is, because if we do that, then we won't have to concentrate as much on attractiveness as real women, and this will allow us to live more full lives. That's something I see as honestly very logical and pretty truthful. I mean, the way women are treated in this world, honestly, is super fucking shitty. And they do have to concentrate on looks on a constant fucking basis. So I get it, and I understand that issue. But when you live like that, you live by those rules of such an incredibly low bar, you get guys like this.
This isn't even fucking loud.
I didn't say it was loud.
Y'all really are poor, huh? Fucking smoking mid. Not even loud.
So I didn't say.
Okay, you get guys who show up in a pair of sweats and a blonde wig and say, "Let me into the sorority." These are things that I feel like you can make this. Right now this is terrifying. 10 years ago, this would have been a sitcom. I don't know what's happening to this country and where we're going, but I love to see it. It's interesting. I love for once not having to have a podcast only talking about how stupid rappers are. I like to sometimes go into the sector about how dumb white people can also be, and especially the people or the sorority at the University of Wyoming. See what being too woke gets you. We can pull up pictures of this person. They identify one way, but they obviously, if you were to look at them, would not be perceived that way with the naked eye. Okay, that's as much as I will say on that subject. And the simple fact of the fact that you let this person into your sorority just based off of whatever like woke ideals you have, and now you're in this pickle. This reminds me of a time. This is a classic example of white liberalism and their chickens finally coming home to roost. They're like, believe it or not, take it from a black guy, you can, as a white person, you can be too nice. These are things that do happen, okay? This actually reminds me of a time where me and my boy John, I haven't had him on the podcast yet, but I fucking love him to death. Great dude from San Francisco, bleeding heart liberal guy. I'm also very liberal too. I'm a fucking socialist and all sorts of shit, and I believe in gay marriage, and anybody's allowed to do anything, and abortions and all that shit. I'm for it, okay? But I also like to make jokes, and I'm trying to build a following. So talking about controversial shit is kind of how you do it. But this reminds me of my boy John. Me and him were drunk one night, super fucking late. It's like 3 in the fucking morning, and we go into a White Castle, and this we're walking in this White Castle, and something that happens in New York, and I think most cities, is you have homeless people. So there's a homeless guy in the doorway of the White Castle, right? Classic, whatever. You kind of got to pay the toll, if you know what I mean. He's asking for money. You got to walk past him, kind of not really make eye contact. I don't know if it's just me, but as I've gotten older, I don't give any grown homeless man money. The only homeless people I give money are mothers, are women, and like mothers and shit like that. Other than that, dude, I don't give a fuck. Especially in New York, because motherfuckers be looking fresh, asking for $10, bro. I've been on the train before and had a dude panhandling who had sneakers newer than mine. And I'm like, this nigga is not getting my dollar. That's not what's happening today. And this wasn't one of those situations, though. This man was very homeless looking. He pulled it off. I would say he was the Daniel Day-Lewis of looking homeless as fuck. This guy was homeless. Homeless with a capital H. This nigga had no home in sight. Okay? But I still walked past him because I only had $10 to my name at that point, and I wanted some goddamn chicken rings, and I wasn't going to be persecuted for it. But my friend John, after seeing this man, get walked by over and over, this man, he starts getting a little bit irate, with people saying like, oh, no one's going to pay attention to me. No one's going to pay attention to me. And, I was going to give him $1 until he started saying that no one's going to, I was going to give him money until he started bringing his white privilege into homelessness. You don't get to do that. Okay? Or you don't, bro. You don't even have a roof over your fucking head. You're not gonna outrank me with your whiteness. Get the fuck out of here. But apparently, this was a dog whistle to my boy John. It got him right into it, and he started feeling bad. And I understand it too. You know, he's a Cali guy. He's from San Francisco. You know what I mean? They have homeless there too. But you know, everybody's rich in fucking San Francisco. Everything's so goddamn expensive in San Francisco that their fucking homeless people probably have mansions themselves. You know, they have $1 million tent. I don't know. So he's, you know, he starts talking to this guy, and he ends up giving the guy money and all this shit, and the guy's like, oh man, thank you. And then as soon as he gives the guy money, the guy goes up to the counter, he goes, give me a fucking smoothie. And he said it just like that. Give me a fucking smoothie. What do you say to me now? What the fuck is wrong with you? Give me a fucking smoothie. And he goes, and she goes, sir, I'm not going to give you a smoothie if you talk to me like that. And he goes, what? You better give me a smoothie, you nigger bitch. This is what this man said. You better give me a smoothie, you nigger bitch. Now my boy John is straight up, I've never seen it. He's turtling, if you could see it. Just, you know, slowly regressing into his seat. You know, he slowly, if he could melt and you know, or poof and disappear, he would. You know, I could feel like the feeling. He's like, oh my god, I empowered this man who's obviously a psychopath. What the fuck? What are we doing? You know what I mean? And you know, the guy, he continued to call this woman the N-word a few more times until she berated him about not having a home, and that man left. And to John, that was a horrifying story, and to me, that was hilarious and a lesson about how white people sometimes need to analyze situations better. See the context of everything around you, and understand that, and then decide what you do. And this relates perfectly to these sorority girls, and in the factor of, like, you know, not, you know, if this person identifies as a trans woman, they identify as a trans woman. You cannot fight that. That is what it is. And, you know, you're trying to be politically correct and appropriate of everybody's feelings and honorable of everyone and blah, 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 blah. You know, I get it. Okay. We all get it. Okay. But if you see the complete lack of effort of this trans woman, you might, or it might behoove you to think that this trans woman might have some nefarious plans in store when she's going to be now doesn't wear any dresses, doesn't dress like a woman in any way aside from having lipstick, is fat, ugly, looks like a complete and utter incel. You know, looks like the type of guy that would be in a Breitbart message board. You know what I mean? Definitely looks like a Reddit king type of person. And this person's going to be sleeping in the same house as you as a sorority sister. I think that would, you know, I feel like one of you should have sniffed that out. Okay, I don't want to be victim blaming here, but I feel like one of you should have sniffed that out. That's not that difficult to be like, hey, this motherfucker doesn't seem like he's a girl, okay? And I ain't living with this nigga, okay? Because one night I'm going to wake up and he's going to be standing over me wearing my panties. And that hasn't happened yet, but it got close to it. A visible erection is not cool. So I hope these girls get their money. I hope they fucking make their shit, man. You know, I hope, you know, that while we do honor you know, trans rights and people's identities of things, I hope we can also get a little bit smarter about how we act on things in a case by case basis. You don't want to woke yourself into a coffin. You know what I mean? Because if you know, I'm making jokes right now, but truth be told, like, bro, that was a man, and like that nigga was just like living with you. You know what I mean? And a lot of crazy shit can happen if you're the type of guy who is not transgender but masquerading as transgender in order to get access to young, beautiful women, you know, in the privacy of their own home. There's a lot of things that can go into that, you know. So this is crazy, man. You know what's so funny too is I feel like this trans stuff has like really blown up so much, right? In the last like I mean, in the last year, of course, but even in the last few weeks, like I was just on, Google News the other day, and Riley Gaines. If you guys haven't heard of her, she's a female, cisgendered female activist, who is a former swimming champion, I believe, collegiate swimming champion, and she's an activist against trans women participating in female sports. And she recently got attacked by a group of trans men and women. I believe she got punched in the face twice by a trans man, and which is interesting because it's almost like one of those things where, that's again where like wokeness gets so crisscrossed, where it's like, in one way it's two chicks fighting each other or like a chick hitting a chick, right? But then another way it's like, well, if you're identifying as a man, it's now a man hitting a woman, and no man should hit a woman, so why didn't anybody step into any of this? And you know what I mean? And and that's the thing I think about all this type of shit. I feel like it's just making my brain hurt, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I feel like, if I'm being honest, it's all sort of just like a weird media scheme, that the government and I think the general media has concocted to get us to care about this stuff and all these divisive things that are happening here in America, rather than concentrating on the fact that, banks are collapsing and we are actually on the brink of World War III. That being said, very entertaining news. Good stuff. We also have more stuff as well, too. There is a young girl. There's a 9-year-old girl who is suing a California state fair. Yeah, that's right. 9 years old. That's what I love about America, too, as well. We are so great at suing. We are not good at keeping our guns and bullets to ourselves, but we are great at suing. I swear to God, we are very, very good at suing. I feel like suing should be an Olympic sport at this point, because if it was, America would have the gold medal every fucking time. This 9-year-old girl apparently has legal counsel and is suing a California state fair for kidnapping, selling, and barbecuing her goat at the state fair. And you know what? Listen, chick, that's what happens, okay? You're in America. This isn't a socialized, a socialist society, okay? What, you thought you were going to get into the state fair for free? You kidding me? Come here, little girl. Get over here, okay? You think you're gonna go to the state fair for free? You want to eat some cotton candy? Then we got to eat something else, okay? And that's your fucking goat. And this, this needs to be a goddamn lesson to every kid out there, okay? This is a lesson for that child as well too. The goat and the barbecue are a metaphor. The goat is your hopes and dreams. The metaphor is America and the United States government, okay? And if you don't keep your head on a goddamn swivel, all right? If you don't keep your head looking backward and forth like a goat can't do. I believe, is that right? Goats can't turn their head, or they can't walk backwards. It's one of those things. I don't know. They have weird eyes. But if you don't pay attention with your weird goat eyes, this country will swallow you whole. It'll put you right on the grill and serve you up to the rest of the people. I feel like that metaphor worked pretty well, but I don't really know where the rest of that I'm going with. But, come on, pay attention. So, shout out to that girl. I just, I do want to say that I'm just so proud of her suing at such a young age. I have friends, from foreign countries, and they tell me that their 9-year-old kid is reading at a 10th grade level, and I tell them, well, our 9-year-old kids are suing at a 35-year-old level, and I think that's beautiful. At the end of the day, doesn't that matter more? Because you can be as smart as you want, but somebody sues you and you're fucked. If there's one thing you realize from this show, take that with you. If somebody sues you, you're fucked. It doesn't matter what books you read, you bastard. It's all over. Good stuff. This has been a fun podcast. I feel like this is very lighthearted. We're going to keep this show going. There's a lot of weird shit happening today. Supposedly a zoo in Knoxville, Tennessee recently got called out for masquerading a pit bull as a lion. That is true. Masquerading a pit bull as a lion. There is video footage of it, pictures. People decided to live tweet and talk about it. It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, yet it still doesn't surprise me. And, also, too, I do want to say, at least they tried. People don't. That's the thing. Everybody wants to make fun of people. Everybody wants to make fun of people. Everybody wants to take people down. Nobody wants to concentrate on what people do right and the fact of like somebody actually making a goddamn effort. You know how many lazy Americans sit on their ass every fucking day, but not the Knoxville Zoo Department. Is that a thing? Not the Knoxville Zoo Department. Okay, the Knoxville Zoo Department, what they do? Oh, they got it. They lost their line. I don't know what happened. Maybe got kidnapped by the county fair and grilled. I don't know. But you know what they did? They went to the local pound. They got a pit bull. They got the nastiest one they could. The one that bites all the time. The one that does fucking fucking pull-ups. that one. The one that shadow boxes in the corner. They said, give me that nasty motherfucker right there. And then what they do, they put him in a goddamn cage. What they do after that, they went to Michael's or a Hobby Lobby, got a couple different things. Then they went to the local, African American, hair store and got a couple weaves. Broke out the sewing machine, stitched that baby together, and made Mufasa. And you know what? I gotta respect it. Man. Because, everybody nowadays, everybody wants to, just judge people and everything. But, you still got to pay attention to people who are giving actual effort. The niggas who get that shit out the mud. So shout out to Knoxville Zoo. I won't be attending. I'll never go. But I feel like someone needs to do that, because so many Americans get told what they do wrong, which in this case, what they would do wrong is, taking a pit bull and masquerading as a lion and then fooling their entire customer base into thinking that was a lion, which not only is unethical, but is also incredibly insulting, as if the average person wouldn't notice that. But at the same time, applaud the effort. And we're back. Yeah, I had to cut a little bit out. I farted during the recording, and I was like, I didn't know if you guys would be able to hear it or not, so I was like, I don't want to. But, all right, enough of the weird news. Let's talk about some shit that people actually fucking care about, the shit you're actually here for. Oh, my God, the light-skinned assassin is back at it again. Drizzy Drake, if you guys don't know, recently released his newest single, Search and Destroy. Pretty good song. I actually like it. But people are saying that it's a Kanye diss. If you don't know why, that's because he used a recording of Kim Kardashian from her show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, or I think now it's just called The Kardashians because it's not on E or anything anymore. It's like on Hulu or whatever, where she talks about wanting to divorce Kanye. And I forget exactly what she says, but it was about like, I'm through sacrificing my happiness or something like that. And he plays that in the track. And, and then he does his typical Drake light skin, pouty duck face thing, which is, it slaps. It's great. It slaps. Everybody fucking loves it. But people are saying that this is a huge diss Kanye. Obviously, it very much is. But once again, as Drake, he is pretty much the most subtle dude ever. The sneak diss king, This nigga is a ninja. He's a fair-skinned ninja. This is how he does things. He never comments on any of it unless he's on the track. And it's gotten so bad where people were talking on Twitter, it's gotten so bad that his dad had to step in and be like, Drake wasn't trying to do nothing. It's just a song. It's like, my nigga, there's no way that this is just a song. Like, there's literally no fucking way that this is just a fucking song. But, I want to say shout out to Drake for doing that. I like when people are messy, but they play chess. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to just be regular messy. It's easy to just run up on a nigga and scream and yell and do all that shit. But it's hard to slowly chip away at a nigga on some Machiavellian shit, And not for nothing, I think this is something that Kanye needs. If we want to have Kanye be someone who is like, at his best, I think Kanye's at his best when he's on the verge of a mental breakdown. You know what I mean? And that's what Drake is really giving him. He's giving him a mental fucking breakdown. So who knows? Maybe, and Drake has said that, or people have put together that their beef is supposed to be squashed because Larry Hoover, the whole Larry Hoover concert. But then on her loss, he was saying that he just linked up with them, only for Jay Prince. So you don't know what's really going on here. But who knows? Maybe the beef is over, but he's provoking Kanye because he knows that Kanye's best when he's losing his fucking mind. So he's trying to give him a friendship nudge of like, hey, nigga, I kind of hooked your bitch. So this nigga makes the best fucking song ever. And, people stop talking about how he hates the Jews. I don't fucking know. Or Drake took the Kanye Jew hating thing very, very seriously and is now deciding to break this nigga's brain permanently. Either way, I find this very, very exciting, and I can't wait. I think the battle of sensitive niggas is gonna be so fun. We're gonna get a lot of good music off of that, which is great because we need this because we're at this time right now where sure there's the NBA young boys and shit, and there's a couple people, you got the Dirks and all that shit, and you got Megan Thee Stallion and shit, but at the end of the day, bro, like, the top people in music right now are the top people in hip hop, which is basically all of music now, because these white people, bro, they don't even really be selling shit no more, aside from Taylor Swift and like Adele. But hip hop is like what music is now. But as far as like the top of hip hop, like the people who are at the top of hip hop and who have the most influence or the most records are all people who have had a career for like over 10 years, over a decade, and they've still been at the top for over a decade. So I mean, at the same time, we're getting too used to their sounds. We know what their sounds are like. We know what their vibes are like. We know what their flows are like. So in order to keep it fresh, I think we need some of this competition to come out for them to come out with new things, or at least come out with something a little extra than what they usually give us, Because even with this whole Search and Destroy song, it was okay, but it was just like a typical Drake song. But the fact that he threw that in was like a little extra adobo on that, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see what they create, what they go for, and everything. So shout out to Drake for poking Kanye, and let's hope that Kanye doesn't go full Nazi over this. Okay, please, Kanye, please stop it. Fingers crossed. But that's it. That's been the False Prophets podcast. I'm your boy Phil Rizdon. Please tune in next week. We will be out on Monday, and I might even drop a special Wednesday episode for you guys. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that shit, blah blah blah. See, I almost forgot about it. That's how real and authentic I am. It's funny because people say, if you say you're real and authentic, that you're probably not real and authentic. But I disagree. And as a real and authentic guy, I feel like I just like tell you, you know what I mean? So like, share, subscribe, and comment on that bitch too, man. I'll see you guys out there. See you later. Peace.